Hey guys, today with the topic, when it comes to feelings, never say never. I mean that for better or for worse. On this channel it's mainly about getting the ex back. From that point of view, that's good for now, right? I don't want you anymore, I don't feel anything for you anymore, I love you but I'm not in love with you, you're not the one. All just words, but they count at that moment. That you have to take seriously when they are said to you. The ones that pull the rug out from under you, after you may have even seen in your ex's eyes how disinterested she was in you. That she didn't want you in her life anymore. Let alone that she wanted to do something about it to change it. She stood there and may have even said that very thing to you. And who am I to say that I, who didn't know your ex at all, am now saying, it's not like that. She's wrong and has no idea herself. But in saying that, I'm not saying that she has no idea right now at this moment. Right now she knows exactly what she wants and what she said. Among other things, the next actions from your side will decide how she will think about it in the future. Do you stand by your position that you don't want this, but you accept the separation? Or are you begging and pleading for the relationship because you don't understand why she is behaving this way? None of these, in my eyes and experience, lead to 100% result. You may have begged and pleaded. Then she may have been in a defensive posture for 3 weeks longer before the process of thinking about it began. If you accept the whole thing and tell her that she is welcome to get in touch if she changes her mind and she meets the guy of her life in the next few days, even though she should still feel something for you, it is not said that you will get anything out of it at all. But before the fear comes up in you, feel free to look around the channel a bit. The chance of her finding a guy like that, especially in the first few months of your breakup, stands at, maybe 10%. Her feelings and starting point are just not stable enough and she wants too much for the next best guy to be the one you couldn't be for her. In doing so, she overlooks too much about him. But that's not what I want this to be about. I want to make it clear to you today that feelings exist in the moment they are addressed and no one can say exactly how they will develop. That was the positive thing for you when you were separated. Is of course lousy to know when you think you have found the person for life. When you promise yourself eternal love, you think that you will never separate and always want to be there for each other. This is also something you can and should take seriously when it is spoken. But have in mind that every ex said it once because they felt that way. Otherwise, the breakup would not have been so surprising, or perhaps you would have acted differently beforehand. An "I love you" is also always relative. A married couple that has been together for 30 years means something different than a couple that has been together for 2 weeks. But there can also be differences between each other. It is not something that needs to be clarified. Nevertheless, it is good to know this fact. If you believe in eternal love and your partner, who obviously also loves you, tells you that you can never be sure whether you will stay together forever, then this can be a huge damper on the relationship. And both saying it and not saying it could be damn stupid. One might be upsetting your partner, and the other is not telling them what you really think. Whereas I am always in favor of openness in such a case, if you can communicate properly. Nothing is worse than wanting to say one thing and then the other arrives at the counterpart. But why is it like that now? Why can't we be sure that feelings stay as they are? Quite simply, because each of our decisions has the power to change the feelings in another person or ourselves. And yes, doing nothing is also a decision in this case. Of course, it changes differently depending on the person. That's why some people are more sure of their feelings in the future than others. The experiences we have had also teach us that. But only about ourselves. To project this onto others is a mistake that most of us make. There is no one who has had exactly the same experience in the field as you have. It starts at the very beginning. The bond we had with our parents influences how we react to other people and how we feel. To this day, no one has had exactly the same path as you. So even if you were to assume that everyone feels exactly the same way you do, you can't assume that that can't change later with more experience. I always like to quote Craig Kenneth here, a woman's feelings are like the clouds in the sky. I can agree with that 100%, and that is not only the case with women. It's just that it's a lot more common among them than it is among men. Among other things, because we usually rather freely say what we think and want to solve problems, instead of giving something on how we feel with it. For a woman, it's much quicker to call it quits and take the next exit straight to her own happiness out of the relationship. At least, if she feels that the man is not the best deal for her and he is not living up to the potential she saw in him. The key word here is, if she has the feeling. Because the feeling makes her attraction to him go down, and once it's down far enough, he can do whatever he wants. She will no longer be attracted to him to continue to justify a relationship. That doesn't mean she can go directly without him or that she won't miss him. It doesn't mean that it can't change again over time and that she can't regret her decision. Especially not if you show her how wrong she was about it. Not in such a way that they get a defiant reaction and think that you are doing this just to prove it to them. Just like that you do what you do without thinking about them. Then a few old memories that come to them before they go to sleep, maybe triggers in the form of special actions you used to do together, and maybe grandma's hamster that you used to take to Pilates on Wednesdays dies. And just like that, your feelings jump from, I never want to see him again, to, I left the best man out of my life. Can happen. You always question her feelings towards you only in moments when it is negative for you. Only then you are always calm and accept it because you have feelings of happiness in your head as if you were given a PS5, a suitcase full of money and the key to the Playboy mansion. The real trick is to always know that feelings are relative and act on them. If they are positive for you, then know that it is up to you, among others, to keep them there. That it is your behavior, you and your counterpart, that will control the feelings in the future. And if they are negative towards you, only the other person can actively change that, and you better invest your time in yourself. Because if their feelings should change then nevertheless again in your favor, then you both have something from the fact that you did not waste your time. Take care and see you in the next video.